Well, hi, everybody. It's Dr. Una. How are you guys doing this amazing day? Just came on to check on everybody. And I kind of wanted to share with you some thoughts I've been having since the pandemic started. And this is for business. This is not necessarily the health side of things. Before I do that, I want to take a moment and acknowledge every healthcare worker who is in front of patients, is at the forefront of this pandemic. I want to say that, we're rooting for you. We're praying for you that, you'll go through all this safely. And we really appreciate everything you do. Really, really, really do. Now, for those of us that are physician entrepreneurs, we have two victims in this pandemic. One would be patients, and then the other one would be our businesses, right? Like could be. But I kind of want to share, three things that I think every doctor should be doing now, every physician, entrepreneur should be doing now. And the first thing is aggressively managing your mental health. Aggressively, because there's so much fear, there's so much anxiety. I mean, the news is nonstop, social media is nonstop. If you're working with patients, it's nonstop. I mean, like, it's nonstop, and you have to work on that. Otherwise, it becomes a problem. You could be waking up with palpitations. You could be waking up paralyzed because you're in so much fear, and that has to be managed. Now, I'm not saying ignore the facts, but the truth of the matter is you're still going to have to be functional. And if you are going to be, you need to be in the right headspace. And I'm not going to go too much into detail. I did a podcast episode on this, how to stay calm in the midst of chaos. And I'll post the links in the comments, and you should really listen to that episode. But basically, I think three is kind of the recurring theme today. Basically, what you do need to do is, one is not dwell on the facts. Now, I'm not saying don't listen to the facts or ignore the facts or deny the facts. I'm saying don't dwell on it. So get the news to be informed, just don't get enough to be paranoid. Okay. So get the news so you're informed, you're updated, you're up to date, you know what's going on. Um, then the second thing is, to dwell on solutions, dwell on, what you could do, dwell on what a positive outcome can look like. Like that's where your mind space should be. And the third is, pay it forward, reach out to somebody else. A lot of people are having a really hard time. So reach out to somebody else, talk to them, make their day better. Your day is always better when you make other people's days better. It's just the way it is. Um, so that's the first part, is your mental health. So sometimes that seems a little woo woo, but this is something that we're in a space where you're going to have to do that. Okay. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is you have to reinvent your business, depending on, well, almost every business. You do have to reinvent your business. And what that would look like, if I could give it to you quick and dirty, is you need to look at, okay, in view of what's going on now, what do I need to start doing? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to change? Like, keep it, but change it, tweak it. And I'll give you a few examples, with things that are going on now. For instance, if you're in private practice, especially if you're primary care, one of the things you should start doing, if you haven't already, is telemedicine. And you should be doing that, because the patients want it. It's been there for a while. The only reason why it's not, it's we're rapidly taking it up now is because patients can't come into the office. So that's something to embrace. That's something that could be another vertical in your practice. So you should be thinking about that. If you are a um, consultant, or if you did events, or if you did stuff like that, one of the things you would have to stop is your live events. But one of the things you can start, if you haven't done it already, is virtual events, right? They're virtual telesummits, virtual, seminars, stuff like that. So you should be pivoting and looking at doing it that way. Um, One of the things, if you haven't started, you definitely have to start, is you have to start being the boss. Maybe you've kind of flown under the radar, so you run a business, but you don't look at the money. You're not actively building a team culture. You have people who are, um, you know, on your team, or people should be on your team, and you haven't done that. Um, that this is the time to look at that. It's time to be the boss. It's time to look at what those profit and loss statements look like. It's time to do projections. It's time to do the things bosses do. Um, so those are, you need to be thinking about that, right? You need to be looking, what are the new problems that my clients or patients are having, and start maybe developing stuff to solve that. So for instance, in the Facebook groups I'm part of for private practice, every day people like, okay, how do I start private practice? What are the codes? What are this? What are that? And I developed a course, the Telemedicine Masterclass. It's a really short course. It's probably like 2 hours, well, an hour and a half altogether. But what it is simple, 7 simple steps you can use to integrate telemedicine into your practice in 24 hours or less. Because I'm like, we don't have time for you to think this out and do all your research and start in 3 months. You need to start this yesterday. So I developed that, and it's a free course, by the way, and I'll post the links in the comments as well. And because that's a need that, the people that I work with have. So I just created that for them. So you need to be looking at that. What are the new problems that your clients are facing? And if you have solutions for those problems, you should be solving them, right? That's just the way it works. So you should be reinventing your business, and you should not look at it as a bad thing, because change is constant, right? So this is an opportunity for you to make your business better. And if you play your cards right, at the end of the pandemic, it will be even better. So do it, go for it. Maybe you have something that's been so brick and mortar, but you should have been remote for the longest, and you hadn't been able to do it. This is the time to do it. I have clients who had cash-based, I have one client who has a cash-based practice, and she'd wanted to do a lot more online stuff for a long time. And once this happened, she's like, poof, just pivoted real quick, really quick. And that's amazing. So change your business, reinvent it, adapt it to the times, right? Don't wish things will go back to the way they were. They're not. They're never going back to the way they were. They won't always be the way they are now, but they're not going back to the way they were. So that's for that piece. The third thing, which is the most important, is you have to promote like crazy. Oh my goodness. Now, before, not promoting your business was a big problem. Now it's literally like suicide. You need to let the people know what you do. Okay, so I talked about telemedicine, so I'll talk about that again. I had many people who've started telemedicine. They're like, but the patients are not coming. They're not doing it. They're not wanting the appointments. And a lot of them don't know. So they'll go to the big box like Teladoc while you're bleeding out, and you can offer telemedicine, but they don't know. And if you don't tell them, they won't know. And if you don't tell them a lot, they will not know. I'll give you a funny example of something that happened with me. We had started telemedicine. Initially, we started a few years ago, and we just ramped it up now. And I was like, after all these announcements we did, I figured the uptake will be a little more. I mean, we're having the visits, but I was like, I thought we would be slammed with these. I'm not clear on what's happening. And what had happened was for the first time, Medicaid was covering it. And when we sent out all the information, then what I didn't know till after I did this experiment was that the patients were thinking about the cost. They were thinking about if their insurance would cover it. So I sat and I was thinking, I was like, why not? Why not? What's going on? And then so I was like, okay, let's do an experiment. So I sent an email, and the title, and you can totally borrow this if it applies to what you do. And the email line said, yay, your insurance now pays for virtual visits. I kid you not. We had 12, 13 calls within 2 hours, right? And that's part of what you need to do. You need to be assessing, you need to be experimenting, you need to be putting the word out there. You need to be sending emails, you need to be doing videos. Until people are like, oh my God, you're everywhere, you're not doing a good job marketing. Okay, so you need to promote, let them know. If you've altered hours, let them know. If you have new products, let them know. If you have, if you're not sure, ask questions and keep trying and keep pivoting, and and stuff like that. But you need to be in front of your ideal clients all the time. Okay. So you need to do that. And even with the Telemedicine Masterclass, one of the modules is all on marketing, because it's not enough to set up a telemedicine thing. You also have to market it. You do. And I talk about a whole marketing stew and stuff with that. So this is what you need to do: protect your mental health and reinvent your business and promote like crazy. Okay. If you have questions, post them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. If you're like, yes, I'm going to do this, you can go like, yes, Dr. Una, just what I needed to hear. Let's do this. Okay. So thank you again for watching. I'm Dr. Una, founder of EntreMD. I help physician entrepreneurs build profitable businesses so they can live life and practice medicine on their own terms. Okay. So I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. And what I am looking forward to is at the end of the pandemic for us to say we came out stronger. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon. Check out the podcast episodes. You'll enjoy it.